Evening, everyone. Welcome to the African Duchess Show with your host, Rumbidzai Mzopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. I hope you are all well and had an exciting day. And today, the topic we'll be discussing on will be on it will be on divorce because this is something that is now um, growing at a faster rate than usual, especially in Africa. This is something that hasn't been very um, identified with us back in the day because we knew the values, the importance of family, of relationships. But well, since we are kind of adopting or changing to the Western culture, we tend to see that when it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriages, when it comes to commitment in general, things have changed. Things have changed, and people want to take shortcuts. They want to love the Western way. They want to do things the Western way. But well, thankfully for us, we still have the African touches, and we'll still continue to air out on the importance of relationships, on the importance of commitment. But well, for today, we're going to be talking on divorce. We're going to talk or discuss on why people divorce and as well on some of the effects of divorce on the children. That is mostly why I did this show today because people tend to forget when people are separating, when our parents are separating, when our grandparents are separating. They tend to forget that there are other third parties that are really affected when it comes to those certain life decisions. So, yeah, feel free to comment, feel free to add a bit of sugar and salt to the discussion. I'll be here to address, and as well, you also guys can help me to iterate on some of the points. So, yeah. Today we're talking on divorce on a lovely Thursday night and with your host, Rumbita Muzopa, the African Duchess. So yeah, divorce. Why it's happening, the effects. Yeah. Before I get into today's show, I just wanna send my condolences. Recently, on Tuesday, when we had our show, I discussed on ritual killings, why they are happening, and as well that we shouldn't condone such a behavior because we are blacks, we are Africans, we should be uniting and standing up for one another, being each other's keepers, being each other's brothers. But well, there's a trending story. I don't know if you've heard it, but guys, right here, in a certain village, there was a child who was killed, and um, his body parts were taken off. And this was not a random hit. This was done by the older brother of the kid's father. It's a boy called Tapiwa. I'm sending my condolences and much respect to the family. This is something that has turned the whole country upside down. People are really affected and touched by the story of this young boy. His future has been taken away from him, and what makes it even worse is it has been taken by his father's brother. We're talking about people of the same bloodline, and yes, it's happening. There's ritual killings, and um, I'm so sorry to that family. It is something that is really painful. Right now, we've got a lot going on. We've got this pandemic. We've got so much going on. and yet still someone would harm a 7 year old. Yeah, I think it was seven. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was 7 year old. And what is making this more alerting, more scary is that the boy's head, I haven't followed the story today, but the boy's head wasn't found last time I checked. The head that was found actually didn't match the body of this boy. So it seems this man has been doing this for quite a long time. Imagine you have a body and you have a head which does not match up to that same body. It means you are or have been doing this for quite some time. Greetings to Jiman. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in on today's show. So yeah, people are vile out there. It is said that your enemies are from your own household. So yeah, people are vile. People have become more wicked over the years. I was laughing at one of my friends who was saying, right now it's no longer survival of the fittest, but it's now survival of the wickedest. Because you can imagine if this man hadn't been caught, he would still be doing activities like this, whether he sells the body parts, whether he does um, juju or voodoo with them. Well, who knows? But well, this is something that has been disturbing. And tomorrow there seems to be people who are like, you know what, let's wear black in remembrance to Tapiwa and honor his short-lived life. And as well, standing against this form of butchery, what this animal called ritual killings. So yeah, back to the issue of today. This is the African Duchess show. If you're tuning in, if you're just joining us, today we're talking on divorce. I'm 23 and I know you're probably wondering why would the Duchess pick such a topic? The Duchess hasn't been married. She doesn't know what us married people go through. Well, my parents separated. They didn't actually divorce, but I come from a family whereby my parents separated. Well, I was old enough a bit. I can't say I was old enough, but well, I was quite mature from such at a very young age, so I would understand some of the things that were going on. But well, we have people who have been greatly affected by this. Obviously, I was affected by this because it's every child's desire to see their parents together, to grow up in a home where both parents showing love and respect to one another. But it was so unfortunate for me. My parents separated. It was a very later stage. Well, it wasn't at a younger stage. They separated at a very later stage in their lives. So yeah, that is why as well I feel like, you know what, I can maybe add a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of strawberry to this topic because well, in as much as I've never been married, in as much as I've never been divorced, well, I am uh, well versed when it comes to the issues to do with divorce. I'm always around counselors, I'm always around people. We have family members, I have friends who've been married and divorced, and well, that's unfortunate. My parents um, separated, and yeah, they separated well for a short time, but still they separated. And I did feel the effects, and I can imagine to those who've been feeling these effects for such a long time, the things they've gone through, the things they've experienced. And it's so unfortunate for others, they can never get the chance to see their parents with the whole custody and fighting over um, custody of the child. You know, one loses, one wins, or well, it's a 50-50. But well, it's so unfortunate. We don't support divorce. I don't support divorce myself, I don't. But well, it happens. You don't plan certain things to happen in your life. Things just happen because that is just how life is. Things, they say life is what happens when you're busy planning or making plans. for other things. So yeah, divorce just comes when you don't expect it to happen. So yeah, I'll speak on divorce today. And like I said earlier on the show, as I was starting, feel free to put in your comments, feel free to join in, feel free to participate because this is like an open discussion as usual. The Duchess always brings topics that are really happening, things that people tend to ignore, and yet they are part of us, they are happening on a daily basis. Okay, so um, we will start. Yeah, so from G-Man, he's passing his condolences as well to the kid. His name is Tapiwa. Tapiwa. And he's sending his condolences. It's messed up, but the kid will be back or is now in a better place. May his soul rest in peace. So yeah, back to our topic, which is on divorce, divorce, divorce. So yeah, like I was saying, divorce is not part or wasn't so common in the African culture because we uphold so much the values of family. We know the importance of family. But well, like I said, this issue of dilution and now how we want to have our relationship or our marriages the Western way, well, you'll see. Well, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationship, like okay, I'll just say relationships. When it comes to relationships, or when it comes to long-term relationship, well, which are other marriages, there is the issue of commitment. People don't want to be committed, but well, the moment you say you want to be with someone, guys, you just have to be committed. You need to take that bold step as to commitment, and also when it comes to marriage you need to have that real desire um, to be one spouse in the future and being identified together as a couple because you know what um, when there's a high level of commitment in a relationship one tends to feel safer, and as well when someone feels safer they are more willing to give more to the relationship, and as well they are committed. But the moment your levels of commitment seems to be fading, it can be helpful, guys, to remember the good times in your relationship. Always important to take it back to the basics, like you guys, how you met, what was your relationship based on, because you know what, you really need to um, go back memory lane when things aren't as good. But well, there are times when you know what, even when you go down memory lane, you're just like, you know what, we will not make it. We just have to go our separate ways so that we can survive. We can survive. So yeah, greetings from Mr. Pirate Brain. Hi, how are you? Peace, Duchess. Peace to you too. So yeah, why do people divorce? I know you're all saying infidelity, whatnot. Well, I'm not gonna even talk about that reason today, because that's the base. That's the most common reason why people divorce. The issue of infidelity. But well, number one reason why I think people divorce is the issue to do when when you get married for the wrong reasons. Well, divorce is simply unavoidable. Nowadays, with the whole dating for money, dating for whatever, people now marry for money. Believe me, people now marry for money. And the moment you marry for money, trust me, it's a ticket for divorce. Because you know what, guys, you always have an option. Until you say I do to a certain person, you always have another choice to say I don't. So, but well, When you're marrying for money, it will come a time when you things go down, because in any life it is like a seesaw. The seesaw, you know what, it goes up and down. So well, you married that guy, you married that woman because you guys, you were on the upside of the seesaw. But well, when you go to the downside of the seesaw and things are down, you will leave, trust me, because money was the only thing that was keeping you there. It's like motivation. When a certain motivation doesn't last for a while. I remember someone was saying this, that you know what, at times motivation doesn't last for a while. What lasts is your purpose in life, because you know what, these motivational speakers, you'll be clapping hands, ha 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 ha, that was a good word, that was a good word, but well, 2 3 days you'd have forgotten about that word altogether. But what we remember the most is your purpose in life. Know your purpose in life as well. So yeah, when you get into marriage for money, the moment money is difficult to come by, you will leave. Trust me, you will leave. Even I, if I get into the marriage for money, I will leave, because you know what, the only bubble gum, or the only what can I say? Wow, the only bubble gum, yeah, that was making you and your other partner stick was for money. My There's this other friend of mine. She says, "No, I uh, don't marry for money. But what you can do is go with the rich people and marry for love, because in this way you have the whole package. You have the money, you have the love. But when you just marry for money only, you will get married to hundreds of people all your life, because you know what, you're looking for money from A, you're looking for money from B, you're looking for money from C. And then Mr. Pirate Brain is asking me, is love a good reason to get married? Yeah, love is a good reason to get married. But well, my mom always says love is not enough as well, because love doesn't pay the bills, love doesn't whatever, whatever, and whatever. But well, you don't really need to get married to someone who's rich to prove a point, because you know what? Nothing lasts forever. Even those riches, they'll come to an end. There'll come a time when you know what, you go bankrupt. But because you married for the wrong reasons, trust me, you will leave that marriage. Even before it was started, you will leave, because you know what, money was your motivation, babe. So yeah, another reason why people get all right. Another people as to why people divorce is because of the lack of individual identity. Me as Rumbitai, right? I really need to know who I am. I really need to know myself. I have to function as a person. I have to function by myself. Um, but well, when it comes to this reason as to the lack of individual identity, right? There's like a co-dependent relationship, right? And a co-dependent relationship is not healthy. It means when you don't have your own interests or the opportunity to express yourself outside of the couple, you are quite dumb. You don't know how, you don't know who you are. But well, you should know that if you are not comfortable doing things without your partner, or if you don't know what kind of music, what kind of food, actually, it's not that you don't know, but you'd have forgotten things that you used to like. You are likely in, because you are likely in guys, you probably feel like you're drowning and you don't know why. And the moment you lose yourself just because you have partnered with a certain person, the moment you don't remember what it feels like, you know what, just to go for an ice cream, as me, Rubidzai, as me, Hannah, like just to go for an ice cream by myself, right? You start feeling as if you've lost yourself, you've lost your what. And in as much as this reason might come petty, or it might come out as not arguable enough. People actually divorce because of lack of the individual identity. You be like, you know what? I want to discover myself again. I want to reconnect with myself again. And I can't be doing this when I'm around you or when I'm in this house. And before you know it, you are out the door. It's as simple as that. You are out the door. So yeah, you people can um, can divorce for that reason. And then moving on, the other reason why people divorce are, you know what, you would have lost yourself in the roles. You can become lost in the roles of marriage. Why am I saying so? Let me use a simple example. Yeah. The same way couples forget they are single friends when they get married, it's exactly the same way when you add children into the mix, right? Most parents, you tend or they tend to neglect or completely forget that, you know what, before there were these kids, even if we have kids now, we are still a couple. We are a couple, and a couple works together. A couple, you know what, your relationship, um, it should not change because there is now a kid, right? And as children grow and whatnot, um, children, yes, they will now be needing less attention when they've grown. But well, many married couples, they would have grown apart and they can't even remember why they ever got married in the first place because they no longer have anything in common. So much time was lost. So much time was lost raising kids. I'm not saying kids are bad. I also want to have kids someday, but I feel like you tend to forget the other person, or you tend to forget the essence of the whole relationship just because you now have kids. I've seen I'm very active on WhatsApp. I've seen many married women when they post on WhatsApp, right? They post their kids and the caption be like, um, this was a prayer answered. I asked God for a gift, and He gave me you, my son. You are the man I will first love in my life. You are the what? You are people go on and on. You are my pillar of strength. And this is a status directed to their kids, right? You are my what? You're my rock. You're my what? You know what? Some of these kids I will be posting, or that will be on the status, they're like what, 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years, right? And you are putting this out to the world, and obviously your husband or your wife, whatever, will see that caption, that status. And this is not just about the social media as well. Even at home, you tend to lose certain roles that you now neglect your wife duties because you now want to be a mom, or you now neglect your husband duties at the expense of being a father. So yeah, when people become lost in roles, it will just come a time when, you know what, you now feel neglected, or you guys no longer have that intimate connection. And in some cases, and in most cases, it could really lead to divorce. And then from GMAT, I think marriage has to be based on a solid spiritual union. It should transcend the human condition. And then from GMAT as well, you also need the ability to love and accept the other person unconditionally. This is very true. You also need to love and accept the other person unconditionally, because um, it can't be all good. At times, um, you will fight, but then you need to accept that people are different, and uh, you can't get the full package out of someone like 100% perfect. No, there will come a time when there will be ups and downs. And I see from Mr. Pirate Ben was asking um, the divorce rate in Africa. Let me just look this up. The divorce rate in Africa. So the divorce rate in Africa, because um, all right. So the divorce rate in Africa as of September 4, 2020. All right, there isn't much like for Africa as a continent, but for countries, there are certain countries that were picked up by our search engine, and they say in Africa the divorce rate is mostly high. Yeah, it's growing, right? But mostly in Ghana and Congo with 30, and the highest frequency it is hit is 33.2%. And that is in Ghana. And then while we have countries that are less frequent with that are less frequent when it comes to divorce, that are like Nigeria, Senegal, with rates of about 11% and 19%. But well, Ghana and Congo tops up in Africa, whereby Ghana is at 3.2%, and in Congo is 28.8% of first marriages ending up in divorce. So yeah, that's the rate to of divorce. I was answering Mr. Pirate Brain, and then also back to G-Man. He's saying an example of unconditional love is I accept that Trumbi likes dark, gloomy topics about about death and emotional pain. Etc. What you think so? I don't. I don't. But well, need to address certain things, like I was saying, because these are things that are ignored and not seen as important, and yet we are talking about things that are happening almost on a daily basis. And then in the USA, the divorce rate for Black people is over 70%. Wow, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So yeah, um, back to my story on some as well of the reasons why people are finding themselves in divorce. Well, not having a good vision of success. I always say this, people define success in so many ways. There isn't actually like a definite definition of success. Well, some would say it's when you achieve like your smaller goals little by little. Some people would say, like the Michelle Obama, they would say success is defined by the like the difference you make in people's lives. But well, when it comes to marriage, people define as well success differently. And most people would say when people get married, things change. Things change, people change. But well, I'm yet to find out. Well, now one, I will not argue, but I'm yet to find out, do people change or they really start showing their true colors? Because well, I don't think people change, but they will really start to show their true colors, because the whole honeymoon phase is gone. The whole pretentious season is gone. And also, we're talking about the issue. I always say this issue of compatibility is quite important. At one time, we had a topic on relationship, and I think you heard people mostly, especially from the guys or from the male side, like people like Keith, G-Man, Mr. Pirate Brain, Sean Scott, all the people who were there, most of them, they were mentioning that, you know what, it's very important that you guys become friends, because when you're friends, right, first you build up to something, but when you just dive into things, right, you don't know if you're compatible with someone. When you're friends, you know that Rumbi doesn't eat sushi, Rumbi doesn't do this, doesn't do what, but well, we are a bit on rapid movement when it comes to relationship as well. That is what is really causing this divorces. And as well, you know what? Just because you didn't know someone, um, well, but well, you're now married, right? At times, they would drive you crazy, because you know what? At times, you're a saver and he's a spender, or vice versa. Or well, your idea of like a weekend getaway. Maybe for me, maybe your idea of a getaway, you want to go up to the mountains, you want to go to the beach, you want to do that. But well, maybe your partner, they want maybe their day like on a weekend out. Maybe they want to go out of town, go fishing or whatnot. But if you miss these certain things, you know what? These things are part of your life. This is the same person who you're gonna be spending your life with till death. You know what? If you don't like fishing when you guys are still friends, there's always an exit. It's like there's always an exit. But well, you guys are now married. There's no exit anymore. It's just as simple as that. And at times, well, men will be saying, you know what, you have to cook, you have to do that, don't go to work, and you disagree, right? And small fights, they always build up to a major fight and major arguments. And the more they increase, the more the chances of you guys failing to combat all the stories involved, and it will lead to divorce because you know what, you've just gotten tired and you just want to leave. And at times, you know, you start asking yourself certain questions like, you know what, why didn't I see these things before? You were blinded by love, especially that first 3 months honeymoon of a relationship. Everyone wants to impress, so you can't be marrying someone in 3 months. Well, some do it, it works for them because they believe there is no recipe really. For love, when it comes to love, there isn't really like a recipe when it comes to, but well, guys, some things they are better avoided than tolerated. Yeah. So yeah, the moment you start asking yourself that, you know what, why did I see these things? At times you should have asked that, well, what's your weekend getaway? What's your what? I ask for me, anyone I've been with, they know I ask because I want to know, like, what's your ideal getaway? What do you like? What do you love? I love traveling, so it means if I find or end up with someone who doesn't love traveling, then definitely we'll always be fighting because you know what, my luggage bag will always be up on the gate waiting to go somewhere. So yeah, in most times the chances are someone hasn't changed, but well, because you're with someone, your expectations have. And the moment your expectations exceed um, what you're being um, given or what's on the table, things will start to crumble because in most cases expectations are our downfall. When you expect more and you don't get more, you become brokenhearted, you become what and what, and you now feel neglected, you now feel whatnot. But well, that ain't the case. You just have to manage the level of your expectations because if you fail to manage your expectations will be your downfall. So, guys, the issue of compatibility really matters. Don't just dive in because you love someone, dive in because you know what? When you weigh the bad habits about that person, when you weigh about the certain things of that person that you never imagined, that you imagined yourself never being part of, and you know what, you decide that you know what, I can live with a guy who goes to fishing, who goes for fishing. I can live with a guy who goes mountain climbing, a guy who goes hiking. Then you know what, go for it. But the moment you say, you know what, I can't take this, I can't do this, don't wait till you're married. Do it because you know what, there are women who've been in and out of relationships like crazy, and you wonder what, you know what, is just over the top. But well, there are men and women out there who just don't see the essence and the value of marriage anymore. And then, why do people divorce? We're still on that. People say the intimacy would have disappeared. And somewhere along the marriage, just like in relationship, you know what, there might be a subtle change in the intimacy department. Like, let's say you've got an off day and the other one has a misunderstanding, maybe with a colleague, or maybe they don't feel too well, or they're feeling tired, or they're sick, or there's the idea that maybe um, he wants to go bowling with his friends. Well, the moment you start seeing this and you're like, you know what, he isn't romantic as he used to be, and she, well, as well, maybe she isn't as sexual as before, the intimacy it's slipping out of your system daily, weekly, monthly. Before you know it, you aren't having sexual intimacy for like what, for like 9 months, for like a year, then definitely you are now just cohabiting together and nothing more. You're just like roommates. And when this happens, right, as long as people aren't getting whatever they're supposed to get, because the moment you guys are married, it means they come like the conjugal rights, certain things that should be just be given freely without the other one having to be controlled by the whatever, or you know what, I read this. I think it read, what did the statement say? Yeah, it said men generally need sexual receptivity to feel romantic, and women generally need romance to be sexually receptive. So, yeah, because there's listening on either's part now, it can trigger your partner to be pulling back as well. And the moment one starts to pull back, the other pulls back as well. It can lead to divorces. Couples will be feeling unloved and unappreciated. There was a couple down by the road who was fighting and fighting, and you know what? The woman was shouting on top of her voice, and she was saying, I quote, "You don't find me attractive anymore. You always look the other way. You admire other women when we are driving. I feel like you are always checking out other women will be passing by. You don't look at me as you used to before. Am I too fit now? Am I this?" What she was shouting, almost everyone could hear her. "Hey, I'm not as sexy anymore. Hi, you don't touch me." Hey, yo, and these are people, this is like a young couple. I said to myself, yo, I can't do this, you know. People is such a young couple, they haven't even been together for 10 years, and you are telling each other already that you don't find me attractive or you don't find me sexy anymore. Well, that is Zimbabwe for you. That is what is happening. It's happening all over, but well, I'm speaking of the things that I've seen or that I've heard. So yeah, as well, I was saying expectations will be your downfall. Always remember that. There's another reason as to why people it's another reason as to why people find themselves in divorces. The issue of unmet expectation. Because you know what? Um Somehow people believe that when a person isn't happy, he or she is supposed to force his or her significant to make things change required, to make the changes required to make the person unhappy being happy again. And you know what? With the whole I can do what men can do, with the whole, you know what, you need to be free, to say what you want. You know what, people will express their unhappiness in certain ways. It can be through complaining, it can be through blaming, it can be through critics and criticizing your partner, as well as nagging, threatening, punishing, and even manipulating. I quote. So, Um, the moment that either of the spouse, either the female or the male, or both the people in the marriage are attempting to coerce each other into doing things they don't want to do for their partner's happiness, definitely it's a recipe for disaster. Because you know what, your partner might not oblige to whatever you want them to do, and you will feel belittled, or you will feel as if they are not getting you or they don't understand you. But well, guys, you are responsible for your own happiness. You don't find the relevance, you don't find the importance of life, you don't find the reason as to why you are alive because you are with a certain person. No, that is one other thing that we, especially women, should know. You know what? You don't find relevance or strength in another person or in a man. These certain attributes, they are and they should be part of you, whether you are with someone or not. You should know, even for the guys, you are responsible for your own happiness. Do not look for pain. I always say this, do not inflict pain on yourself just because of things that can be avoidable. You know what? You can afford to take yourself out for a drink, or um, you can go and get pizza, or buy yourself chocolate like the Duchess does. You know what? And you won't lose anything at all. You won't lose anything at all. All right. So let me just go through the comments. Let me just go through the comments quickly because they have destroyed our women, the Rockefeller Foundation. I think you also have a meaningful purpose for being. I think you also have to have true. You also have to have a meaningful purpose for being together. That's from G-Man, and as well, I would take an 11% risk any day. I'm coming to Africa to find my dark skinned African wife, Duchess. African American women is a man. Oh no, your wife friend zoned you. That is why I told you the women are cold and need to heat up and need romance to heat up, and men are hot. All right. That is coming from Keith. All right, so let's just continue with the discussion of today as well. I'm coming to the heat of the discussion when it comes to the people as to why people divorce. The issue to do with finances. I'm not talking about money, just money. I'm talking about finances. There is a difference between money and finance. Those two are not the same animal. So I'm talking about finances right now. When it comes to finances, right, it's not usually the lack of finance that causes people to divorce, believe me, but the lack of compatibility in the financial area. Because they say opposite attract, but you know what? At times, when two people are opposites in terms of the financial department, divorce often occurs. Because you know what? You can imagine a scenario where one is a saver and one is a spender, right? And let's say the woman or the male, they are focused on the future, while you know what, the other believes in living for today. We have people who move with the YOLO, you only live once mantra. And look at the lifestyle of those people. You know what, when they spend money. When it comes to buying whatever, they can order a plate full of food and won't even go a quarter of the way, because you know what, to them they just wanted to see the food in their plate, and you know what, gives them a certain satisfaction. I don't know, whatever the concept it is. We're talking about the one is a spender, the one is a saver. So yeah, one is focused on the future while the other believes in living for today. And at times, one has a problem buying on credit. I know people who have a really big challenge with buying on credit, and well, maybe the other believes in saving up for what they want. Yeah, like me, I like saving up for what I want because I don't like to buy things on credit. So yeah, imagine I meet someone who buys things on credit. You know what? Even when you want to buy things on credit, guys, you just have to have limits because you can't just exceed a certain level just because you want certain things, you know, just wanting things and things and wanting and wanting and wanting. By the end of the, by before you know it, imagine you are full of so many debts you want to pay. You have family expenses. You have to take care of yourself. You have bills. You have utilities. You've got so much to do. So yeah, over time, these conflicts it can reach such a height whereby divorce seems to be the only logical conclusion because you feel like that one the other one is just spending and the other one is just looking for money. This is usually happens with people with couples. I know couples or married people with joint accounts. Hey, the moment you have joint account, guys, you have to be accountable to the other one because you can't just be spending money. You can't just be spending money because obviously when you guys have a joint account, in as much as we don't want to believe or we don't want to say it out loud, mostly the man being the head of the house, in most cases he's the one who chooses up more more money than usual. And well, as women being spenders, we don't even care. We just spend and spend. So you know what? When you don't really have a control over your buying or spending patterns, it could really put a strain on your marriage. It could really put a strain on your partner, and this could really lead to divorce. Okay, and another reason, yeah, why people um, find themselves in divorce. All right, let me just read a comment from Jimat. Women need to give up sex when I want. We need, no, they need to give sex when I want, how I want, however I want, where I want. They also have to cook good food and take my boots off when I get home from work. Just joking. Well, in as much as you're joking, there's like a certain type of people, with this whole totem things that we have in Africa. There are men who really demand to have such a woman doing that for them. Like, you know what? You really need to take off my coat when I come back from work. You need to greet me with using my clan praising, like clan praises. Imagine your wife is having to do this like on a daily basis, and also they need also to take your shoes off, do this and that to you. So yeah, in as much as you're joking, Jiman, it's really happening out here in Zimbabwe, in Africa. It's really happening. And then yeah, I'll stay with the woman like that. Oh, almost forget. Leave the toilet sit up. Yeah, that is really an issue. Leaving the toilet sit up. I always have a challenge, even at home. People do. I don't know, the issue of this leaving the toilet sit up, it's just something that people just doesn't update you. So yeah, moving on as um as well to the reason as to why people divorce is the issue of being out of touch. You know, when we're saying being out of touch, obviously we're talking about physical contact, of course, physical contact. And when you talk about physical contact, but the way my chat room is always filled up with men, I know you're thinking, whenever I say physical contact, you're thinking of sex. But well, guys, no. It's times when you guys are not having sex, or um, there are certain things that you should still continue to do, or be able to enjoy. Like you also need to supplement it with like a little hello and goodbye kisses. I know of a couple who kiss each other every day on a daily basis, 365 days in a year, even when they are not in good books, even when they are angry at each other. That goodbye kiss always comes, like when they're going to work or when they're traveling. So yeah, guys, you still need to have those goodbye kisses, those impromptu hugs, those holding hands, just cuddling, um, leaning in on each other's shoulders, watching a movie together, or at least touching each other. There's those certain things that just keep you alive, right? You shouldn't be out of touch, guys. So when it comes to marriage now, couples, they don't tend to maintain like an intimate relationship or an intimate connection through some of these non-sexual sexual actions. But well, you need to really maintain this, because um, the moment you lack these certain aspects, you become virtual strangers. You become strangers in your own home, and you can't even define your love language, or your love, or your purpose as to why you guys are together. You honestly lose your purpose. There was this pastor, she's called Dr. Love from Zimbabwe. And she always says, you know what? The way my husband and I kiss at home, and the way we tell each other, I love you, I'm sure our kids are now frustrated. But well, we don't want our kids to know the way in which to love over TV or on social media. We want them to experience the love we have as their parents here at home. Because you know what? Charity begins at home. If your kid doesn't see you hugging their father enough, or vice versa, right? Because they are learning as well. That is the same way as well. They will configure themselves, or the same way that they will act when they go outside. Do not be fooled. It really is like a true factor. The fact, if you don't hug, there was a there's this story that if you don't hug your kids as much when they are kids, um, even in their lives, they have like a certain restraint when it comes even to relationship, because you know what, they don't understand that type of love language. They don't see the essence of hugging a woman, because growing up they didn't see their mother being hugged, they didn't see their father being hugged. Because remember, you as parents, you are like the role models of your kids, you are like the measurement of performance, you are like the point of reference of your kids. But the moment that the two of you are always fighting, it's the same as well. That is the same theory that your children will carry. And remember the issue of photographic memory. Your child remembers you slapping their mother or you slapping their father. They will also slap their girlfriends, their boyfriends. They'll also slap their wives and their husbands, because you know what? That is what they grew up seeing. So, in as much as um, we think otherwise, well, you shouldn't be out of touch with your partner. Because you know what, in as much as the two of you are showing each other love, there are people who are learning, there are people um, who are seeing the kind of lifestyle and love language you two will portray to one another. So yeah, moving on. Another reason as to why people get divorced is the thing of different priorities and interests, right? um it's always fun when you have like shared interests and you explore them together, because you know, as when you have shared interests and when you can um share, you know what, there are certain words that you know what, even before you finish them, your partner would have finished them for you, because they just know you too well. They just, you can just laugh about the simplest thing ever, just because the two of you, you've gotten so much to each other. And this is one recipe as well for a successful marriage. And the moment you don't have different priorities and interests, but well, you only realize you don't have different priorities. You have different priorities when you're like into the marriage. That is why the boys out here, the males out here, we're saying that you guys need to be friends because a relationship based on friendship lasts greater, lasts more than just diving right in. Because when just diving right in, there are so many red flags that you will miss. But well, when you were friends, you would get to know that you know what Rumbi loves blue and it's not like white. Well, that's a true fact. I don't like white clothing, white things. No, the moment you see me wearing those things, remember, maybe I was in a rush to go somewhere and I just picked something from my wardrobe. So yeah, different priorities. Because you know what, it's important to have like a me time. It is important as well to have like a you time, you as a couple. But when you have different interests, it means when you are having a you time as a couple, the other one is just reading their novel, and the other one is just what playing their video games. Because you know what, both of you have different interests, but well, you could have discovered this and saved yourself a long process of legal formalities getting a divorce just because you find out that you know what, me and my partner, we are not so compatible, we don't have the same priorities, we don't have the same interests, and you inevitably grow further and further apart. And before you know it, like I say, you will become roommates, you will become housemates, you just be cohabiting the house together. And before you know it, you would have filed for a divorce. So, yeah, moving on, we'll talk as well. Another reason as to why people divorce is the issue of the inability to resolve conflict, right? People have disagreements, we have disagreements, be it with our siblings, we have disagreements at work, with work colleagues, we have disagreements everywhere, even at church, we have disagreements, even at the bar. You might have a disagreement over just a mixture of a certain cocktail, or maybe someone would have stabbed on you. Disagreements are everywhere, but well, the disagreements that come when there's a sense of passion involved, the moment you fail to resolve conflicts, and as well the inability of women to forgive and forget um, at a faster rate as well, it really has an effect on this because you know what, women don't forget. Don't ever be fooled, women don't forget. If you cheat today, they will remind you 15 years later. If you do that today, they will remind you 6 hours later. They don't tend to forget. And you know what, we want to move forward, we want to start on a fresh page, we want to start on a new chapter, but well, we have this inability to resolve conflicts at times. And the key, well, it is to develop like ground rules so that you maintain the other person's space, you continuously respect that other person, because you know what, arguments start as a result of disrespect. I think you've heard this. People say he disrespect me so much. He's not listening. He doesn't listen to me. Well, you have to develop like ground rules. You have to develop boundaries. Even when you're married, you have to have boundaries because the moment you encroach another person's privacy, the moment you encroach into another person's space, right? Obviously, there will be an argument. And in times, if you fail to solve arguments as the two of you, guys, go for counseling. It's very healthy. Talk to your parents. Um, and at the time, you can also bring in a third party because it's always nice to have like a third view or like a third opinion, especially for someone who's quite neutral, who doesn't have anything to gain or to lose. Because you know what? Just the two of you, just me and him, we might not reach like a productive um, conclusion. And then we'll speak of abuse. This is one of the major reasons, apart from infidelity, the issue of abuse is why many people are getting divorced daily, wherever, be it in Africa, in Europe, in America, wherever, name it. Abuse is out there, abuse is everywhere. And um, the moment it becomes like a pattern, like, you know what, your husband is known for doing this. We talk of gender-based violence, we talk of domestic violence. Um, we have awareness on this, but well, surprisingly, um, people continuously do this and continuously hurt one another physically, and they continuously hurt each other. And mm, some spouses, right? They become they become very, very abusive. And when it comes to the issue of abuse, like beating up or battering your wife, those like abuse spouses, and especially the children, because like I said, children have a photographic memory. If you ask your kid, like when you slapped your wife or when you slapped your sister, your kid will remember. Even now, even I, on my age right now, I have like vivid memories, let's say, for when my parents would argue or when they would hurt each other, be it verbally, whatever. I can be able to, you know what, I remember this and that. So yeah, the issue of abuse. Sometimes ending a marriage with an abusive spouse can be dangerous. I know people have been given restraining orders, they've been given peace orders and protection orders, and they've been victims of violence and whatnot. But well, in as much as it is dangerous, we have survivors, we have people who've moved on with their lives, and after getting a divorce. I advise it's a very good idea, because you know what, when it comes to people who are abusive, especially when it comes to people who are violent, there will come a time when they may end up killing you, and yet you could have run for your life, you could have run to save yourself, you could have run to save your children, a mother, a father. And also when it comes to abuse, usually they don't change those people. In as much as we want them to change, go to the graves, you will see graves of many people who were saying he was gonna change, she was gonna change. They are there being fed on by termites just because they thought their attacker was going to change. And all in the name of love, all in the name of upholding family values, they died. Because you know what, when it comes to abusive people, one day they will take a bottle, one day they will take a knife, and they will hurt you. And before you know it, you won't even live to tell the story. You will be dead. When it comes to people who are really abusive, I don't ask you to second guess. Just leave, because the moment you don't, you're gone. And also, another reason why people divorce is the issue of addictions. People have addictions. It can be alcoholic addictions, it can be drugs, it can be gambling. You're especially gambling with the whole, yeah, with the whole gambling. I don't know if betting fits in on this, but yeah, this one like betting as well. And with the whole European League soccer, hey, European League football, or with the whole games going on like horse racing, horse riding. There are people with an addiction of betting on horses, betting on whatnot and whatnot. And these people, I'll tell you, they won't even care that they need to buy relish at home or they need to buy this at home. To them, they just need it. There's a satisfaction that comes about when they bet or when they gamble. And you know what? When people lose out on their bets, at times they can be very violent, they can be very abusive. And also, the another addiction would be on pornography. And guys, the moment you can't deal with certain addictions, obviously you love your person, you will try and get help for them, you will try and give them access to certain organizations, you will whatnot and whatnot. Maybe you even at times, if you're very Christian, you will pray, you do what and what. But wow, at times people, in as much as we want to save them, we can't. So people tend to divorce because they don't want to keep staying with someone or being with someone at the expense of their own safety. So yeah, let me just go through the comment section. Yeah, this is kind of a pirate brain. You must touch your woman every day. That is very true. You must touch your woman every day. They shouldn't miss your touch. They shouldn't desire your touch, like yearning for it. You can't be yearning for someone that you see almost on a daily basis or that you stay with. It just has to be automatic. If maybe it's their ass, whatever, tap it every day. Do what not every day. Because you know what? You need to keep the whole marriage, the whole relationship alive, right? Um, oh yeah, you just said it. Smack her on the butt every day. That is true. If you have to do it, then do it. Tap her ass, do what, because you know what? Women love those things. And the moment they start liking those things, a co-worker may just tap that ass. And you know what? Before you like it, she's enjoying getting her ass tapped by her co-worker. And she can't afford to miss work on a daily basis because you know what? She's looking forward to that co-worker tapping her ass. So don't give her that opportunity. Don't give your partner or your spouse the opportunity or the reason for them to cheat. Play your part, do your roles well. If you just gonna cheat, you can't lock him up. You can't um, control his dick patterns. But well, guys, do your role. If you are gonna be someone's wife, be their wife. If you wanna play husband to someone, be their husband. Whatever role you are to them, be that. Do it earnestly. And you know what? At times when you just continuously do your duty and expect do what you expected to do, things will just fall in line. Even if your partner was cheating, you can find you'll be surprised. They might even break up with that other person because you know what? They just feel terribly bad for the things they are doing and they just don't want to lose you. So yeah, just keep doing whatever you're doing. And because I think as well, another reason why people end up getting a divorce is you know what? When a man cheats, right? I always tell this, especially in the African community. When a man cheats, right? You can't go if the woman. You don't go and cheat as well. It's as simple as that. In as much as it may not seem fair, this is something that every African woman should master. You shouldn't cheat because your husband is cheated. Because you know what? Unlike us women, unlike men, women, right? Everything we do it with emotions, we do it with feelings. Men can sleep with Jane and Beauty or with Zane, whatever, and still come back home to their wives, still come back home and love their wives. But when it comes to women, the moment you cheat, right, women, they can't love two people at once, right? There's someone that you always love more than the other. And if you've been done good out there, best believe it, you start seeing your husband as useless and you'll be walking all over him before you know it. So, two wrongs don't make it right. Don't cheat because the other person is cheated. Because unlike men, women, you get pregnant, you get so heartbroken easily. So many things, so many factors to consider before you go down that road. And the fact that you've gotten pregnant and this is you've gotten pregnant out of cheating and whatnot, you are the one who will carry. I'm not saying pregnant is a shame, but you will be the one to carry that shame. That you know what, at one time I cheated, and these are the results of the cheating. Don't cheat. Don't cheat. It's as simple as that. I would really advise that, you know what, the moment you feel like you want to try something else, leave, because it's not just the pregnancy, it's not just the emotional attachment, the disease as well. You don't want to affect your partner, and they as well, they shouldn't affect you. So yeah, that's just the thing. Don't do something that you will regret later just because you acted out of emotion, or you acted out of disparitism, or you acted out of whatnot. It's very important to communicate as a couple. It's important to communicate because you know what? Communication is the key. The moment you have communication, you can be telling your guy, you can be telling G-Man that, you know what, G-Man, I need you to be telling my ass every day like you used to. But well, because you've decided to be ignorant about it, you will not tell him as well, and maybe I'm not saying we'd have forgotten, but certain things we just need to remind and keep the whole energy, the whole vibe, because it's all about energy. And you need to keep the whole energy up. You need to be responding to each other's love, to each other's touch, and whatnot. Um, all right, I'll not read that comment. Yeah. Jiman, I can see you today. I see you. All right. Uh, Drunken bar disagreements lead to great makeup sex. Good fights to lead to great makeup sex. Good sober fights due to verbal fights, of course. Actually, friendly wrestling. Sorry, I didn't see that comment. Skip to me. Sorry, excuse me. All right. So, actually, friendly wrestling around and play fighting can lead to some spontaneous fine things. So, yeah, guys, keep the whole energy and the vibe going on. Like the pillow fights, the whatnot, do it. And it also, when it comes like to your sexual life, spice it up, you know, um, be experimental with your partner, do whatnot, whatnot. Because you know what? I've seen many people who've divorced getting back together because you know what, when they've gone their separate way, they'll start thinking, you know what, where did I go wrong? Where did I lose it? Guys, don't be thinking about all that when things can be avoidable. Divorces can be avoided, divorces can be reduced. You know what? Because at the end of the day, you are Black African. Don't match up your standards or your relationship with the Western culture. For them, it works, and they have divorces happening um, like no man's business. Well, we should not be doing this or having this because divorces are not right. Divorces that really have like a long-term effects, be it on the kids, be it on the families, and even on you as an individual. Because believe me, you divorce, it's like you've lost something, and you really need to go through that whole grieving process. You really need to go through that healing process, and it's quite painful. It's quite tiresome. It's quite a lengthy process as well, and you will need also like the issue of custody when you have kids. Also, you now have as well um, to be that parent that you know what, it's like you're now in a competition between you and your partner to impress the kid. You're now putting yourself under unnecessary pressure, and it also could lead to so many health problems because when you're under pressure, it really trigger so many the diseases like the disease and viruses like sorry diseases like the hypertension or the can have a heart attack actually. I know people who've had heart attacks over this whole divorce. And as well, like the court proceedings, they're quite tiresome, especially if you're from this side of the world. The court proceeding when it comes to divorce, you could go for months and months and months and months, even up to years, just going through this whole process. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, uh, all right, so greetings to Robert Williams. Greetings from to 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 Lando Winter. Okay, this is a new person. I've never seen you. Thank you for tuning in, Lando Winter. Robert Williams, Chocolate Queen. Hey, how are you? Then from Lando Winter, he's saying marriage must have order and purpose. More importantly, roles must be established. Yeah, I said this earlier on that roles must be established to meet the needs of the relationship and its financial necessity. Without those criteria, divorces are inevitable. Yeah, that is very true. Without setting boundaries, without establishing roles, without respect as well, and so much, it is very much inevitable. And I don't advise for people who are quite young, like the 16s, 18s, to get married because, guys, there's more to life than getting married. That because you know what, we've seen people who mostly as well people who've gotten married at a young age divorces by the time they reach 25 they would have divorced and then they remarry again by the time they reach 30 they divorce because the moment you start having divorces they form like a pattern and as long as you want to believe it you divorce Jane you will divorce again Mary you will divorce again Kate you will divorce them and you will just end up being all alone because you know what once you do something you will do it again once you divorce and well let's say the odds are in your favor you will do it again because you feel like you know what have I got to lose but that ain't should be the case then if a woman cheats it's over exactly I always tell this if a woman cheats it's over but well gets into this ear and leaves through the other ear. People don't just listen. Sounds like old Eddie Murphy line when you get caught cheating. I fucked you, but I make love to you. All right. So if a woman cheats, then best believe it, it's over. Let's see this whole feminism going on. That you know what men can do, women can do better. Girl, you'll be out on the streets before you know it. And you just can't compete with men when it comes to cheating. You just can't. You can't, guys. You can't. And yeah, so this was for the day. I will have to end the show now. But well, I don't support divorce. Do not divorce. Take your time when choosing your partner. Take your time when choosing the person you want to be with. Don't forget, you have to be compatible. You have to know the person you're getting into bed too well before you get into any commitment. Because you know what, guys? These will be your partner for the rest of your life. So make a very wise decision and listen to your elders as well. Don't be like, you know what? Hey, I'm in love. I'll do whatever I want. Because you know what? End of the day, love doesn't pay the bills. Love doesn't bring food on the table for you. So I hope you had a nice time with me. I just hope tomorrow I'll have something juicy because seems G-Man was teasing me on the topics I've been doing on the show lately. So yeah, I just hope tomorrow we'll just spice things up so that we'll get into the weekend on a high note. So good night from me, the Duchess, and good day to those who are waking up. Good morning. I love you and thank you all to the Melanated family for being with me on the show today. And also, guys, don't forget to go on our website, the Black Hot Fire Radio Network, and check out the previous videos we've done and also put in a dollar or two because you know what? Um, we are here for you. We are here for you, and it's a good thing that we have many people who are supporting. So, guys, let's show support to one another. We are one, and we are together. So, yeah, always remember, divided. Um, if we're divided, we won't go anywhere. But if we are together, as one, as a continent, as the blacks, as together as the melanated family, we'll go somewhere and we are definitely going forward. So yeah, take care, Duchess. Take care. Do you mind the way you reply to the I love you messages? Oh, I love you too, though. Okay, I love you. I love you. So, yeah, good night and have um, an amazing Friday tomorrow. Mwah. Take care, Duchess. Take care, Mr. Pirate Brain. See you tomorrow.
Melody, 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 you're my melody, 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 you're my melody. There was a time in my life when I thought I was cursed. I wouldn't find the one who would love me for me. Then you came along.